Yeah, the FF6 Pixel Remaster looks pretty cool. Like with all those other games, it's probably going to be a while before I'll actually play it myself, but the music sounds amazing, which I wasn't expecting anything less. Ah, thanks. Thanks, Biscuits. Thanks, and Casey. Robot Fencer. Did knock minus done? It's worth your shade. Hey, MP King. Bad. Bit of a time save here. Hey newbie. Hey Ragers, yep. Game soundtrack is incredible. Yeah, I did. I got a low 214 last week, and my goal was a 215. So yeah, back on Faerie now to try to shave another like 2-ish minutes off this. Thanks for the congrats. What? Somehow got stuck on the counter. Need to just use quick emulator testing and find a good way to approach the counter after the screen loads. So I kind of got around it for Jumi by talking to Niccolo first, just because you go to the shop at a different point in the story then, but it's not the case here. Hey, the 7, thank you, sir. And an interesting start so far. Got a gold first split, and then proceeded to probably lose most of that to getting stuck on the counter in the item in the weapon shop here. Particular cutscene sometimes reminds me of the trial from Chrono Trigger, just as kind of the general look of the room and the way the camera kind of slowly scrolls down for the establishing shot, even though we're not exactly being put on trial here. Thanks, Lady Laura. Appreciate it. Hey, Daedalus, good evening. Guess I owe that gold to the one fight in that segment, just because I feel like I lost a good probably 5 to 10 seconds from getting stuck on the shop counter. Thanks for the luck, Inix. Thanks, Jenna. Appreciate it. Hey, Humda. I'm now done. I'm done with Dragon and Jumi storylines, and coming back to Faerie to try to improve my time at that by another like 2-ish minutes or so. Suplex monkey. Spiral claw drop. Probably like only a 1 out of 8 or so odds for that. All it does is speed up this boss fight a bit. Hey, keep mouse with me. Hey, nice team. Nice, didn't drop the combo at all. Nothing but gold. Nice and fast shop menu there. Next to having a stack of seeds to sell. The closest thing to 100% in this game is all quests, of which there are 68 total. It's the kind of thing that it's really, really hard to do casually without some kind of guide, just because, well, you can never permanently lock yourself out of any of the major story quests. There are numerous side quests that are somewhat easy to miss out on. Hey, Rudderstone. Hey, Lord Michael. And oh, nice. Yeah, if you want to casually 100% the game, I would recommend using some kind of spoiler-free 100% guide, as far as like what order to do the quests in order to ensure that you don't miss any. Hopping into an area we're not supposed to be in yet, which kicks us back to the start. Something like this is what I would have loved to have seen with the Jewel Beasts, like this, and then Do Ink, which is the other boss that uses the same sprite or totally different fights as far as what attacks and AI the boss has. Wow, another gold. Hey, some dude. Good luck. I think these golds are more than anything else just from more experience, better experience I have with the combat in this game from running the other categories, translating into saving time on this one, which was the first category I ran. Hey, get cooped. Be a coin behind the bush there or something. Hey, friendly neighborhood. Grab the combo once, but not a big deal. Hey, T-Murdoch. That's the plan. Yeah, I watched a big chunk of El Magus streaming FF6 PR. I don't really have any interest in playing it myself in the near future, especially since I played the T Edition hack a few months ago, which was a lot of FF6 in my life, but I enjoyed watching Magus' streams of it. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair opinion. I mean, my nostalgia for the SNES soundtrack for those three games is pretty strong. It's kind of hard to say that even though the remaster soundtracks are kind of objectively better, it's kind of hard for me to say that I actually like them more personally. Yeah, the opera looked pretty cool, although to be honest, it did also feel a little out of place to have just a little piece of the game like that be Octopath Traveler style, and then go right back to Pixel Remaster style. Especially just the way the stage too, because I mean the stage looks completely different during the opera versus during the cutscene before the Ultros fight. Oh yeah, I would definitely say it looks like a pretty big upgrade over the previous PC versions of Final Fantasy V and VI. Pretty impressive that they actually they voiced it in every language that the game is available in too, instead of just English and Japanese or something like that. Yeah, the font is not good at all. But yeah, I've heard modding it is pretty easy. Although, if those games ever get console ports, like for the Switch and PS4 or 5 or something, that'll be a bit of a different problem, though. It's not that easy to mod games on consoles. Modern consoles, at least. Alright, so we're coming up on one of the more random boss fights in the run. This boss has 4 different special attacks that it can whip out that I need to be prepared to counter. Nice, that was pretty good, actually. It's really rare to get through the whole fight without seeing any of Spriggan's special attacks, but as long as you counter them with your own special attack, it's kind of an equivalent exchange. Do a nice chunk of damage with your cutting bamboo. okay, this run is getting silly. I feel like something is gonna have to blow up soon. I mean, I don't know, Square Enix feels like it's just being very, very random these days as far as what they release their games on. Like, they do Switch-only games, but they also do PC-only games. Or mobile-only games. Casual playthrough of FF6, I mean, on the SNES, I would say would probably be like maybe 25, 30 hours if you're mostly blind to the game. The Pixel Remaster definitely looks like a quicker playthrough because of the autosaves and quality of life stuff. So yeah, that I would probably say should be like maybe 15 to 20. Don't feel 100% like I know what I'm doing with this boss too, especially as far as the start. It's two heads out at the same time. Hey, Zephyr. Well, from what I've seen of the FF6 Pixel Remaster, it has a speed up in the sense that the battle speed actually affects you as well as enemies. So if you turn the battle speed to the fastest setting, it actually makes battles faster instead of just easier, like on the original game, and there's an auto battle feature too. I don't know if that like speeds up animations or anything, but definitely speed up like grinding and stuff. So we're finally gonna get a non-gold here, but this will probably still be a little bit of a time save. Yeah, I mean, a lot of game companies, and Square Enix being no exception to that, really seem to be focusing their efforts on appealing to nostalgia from older gamers. Whereas, like, so many of their new games being some remakes of older stuff. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's making big budget games these days isn't exactly a trivial effort. If you're making like ports and remakes, you've got some kind of code base to start from versus having to start from scratch. Hey, BroodVX, thank you. Yeah, Square has been doing a bang-up job with all of their various remakes and remasters of the Mana series. Although they've run out of good Mana games to remake, so I hope we see some new Mana games soon. I know there's going to be a mobile game called Echoes of Mana, and then there's a, I think, as of yet untitled console and PC Mana game development. Oh, enjoy, Janov. As of right now, I would probably say the Trials of Mana remake is my favorite Mana game. Casually, at least. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it kind of keeps the heart and soul of the original game, but modernizes it to be more accessible to modern gamers as well as older ones. See how my 2-hit combo really makes sense. Okay. It was a little sloppy in a few places, but it never teleported away, at least. But I've been starting to put a bit more work into trying to optimize my combo on that fight, as far as once I get the stun on it, as far as trying to optimize how many power hits I do before going back to 2 hits. Second gold. Not forget to activate In Search of Fairies this time. That burned me, I think, the last time I did a full run of this, and in practice last week too. It's basically kind of crossover with Jumi's storyline. I'll blame it on, just because in that, when you do this quest, you just come in and do it and then leave. Where it's here, we combine it with activating In Search of Fairies. Thanks, Garluchik. Yeah. I think this is one of the best looking and sounding games in the PS1, and yeah, I mean, if you're The graphics at like full like S video or component video quality, I think, look almost as good as the HD remaster. Yeah, big agree, Daedalonus. That was one of my inspirations for getting into speedrunning this game in the first place, was being disappointed at how little challenge there is in playing it casually. When I played the HD remaster, I thought running the speedrun would be a good way to kind of force myself to learn more about doing the combat in this game at higher levels and challenging myself more. One thing that the HD remaster did not do that I was hoping it would too was to add a higher difficulty option that doesn't require New Game Plus, because the original game does have Nightmare and No Future difficulties, but those are gated behind New Game Plus. For hooking old consoles up to new televisions, the easiest way to do that nowadays is with what's called a RetroTink, R-E-T-R-O-T-I-N-K. It's just a device that you can plug an older game console into, and then it automatically upscales it into HD. It's very, very easy to set up and use. Like my stream setup just has an old school CRT TV as part of it, but if that ever dies, instead of getting another CRT, I'm going to get a RetroTink set up. I mean, I already have both models of RetroTinks, just haven't had any motivation to actually redo my streaming setup, because what I have works. Hey, Honest Coon. Yeah. A lot of these golds, I think, are mainly just experience I've gotten from running the other categories, translating into lots of micro-optimizations, coming back to Faerie, which I haven't really run since last November, but had some pretty solid boss fights and other fights in this run, too, so far. My week was pretty solid. Yeah, I think it was last September, I want to say, that I started running this. I've been very pleasantly surprised with how long this game has been holding my interest as a speed game, but just the fact that there's numerous categories that all play pretty differently as far as like what kind of weapon you use, what bosses you fight, what about the run is difficult. That's helped a lot as far as holding my interest. mean, just the fact that you use a sword for most of this run instead of a hammer, like Jumi storyline, makes the combat feel fairly different. Plus, having a godlike soundtrack and gorgeous visuals certainly doesn't hurt either. I do unashamedly admit that quality of soundtrack is a factor I consider when picking games to speedrun, just because I know I'm going to be listening to it a lot. Nice. Whiffed a few times, but only got one special attack off, and I countered it. It's generally considered one of the harder boss fights in this run, but since I put some serious practice time into learning how to counter its special attacks, I haven't really had too much trouble. That's because that's the main way that you can lose, is you actually get hit by its special attacks. In particular, it's Howling Lightning, which can give you green stun, which is paralysis. This is a quest that gives you some pretty neat lore about the backstories of the Faerie storyline characters, but you can just leave and skip pretty much all of it, which is what I'll be doing. Definitely don't recommend doing this if you're playing this game normally, though. Yeah, all of the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters are Steam and mobile phones only right now. I hope they get console ports eventually. Like, that's one of the things that's holding me back from playing them myself, is that I just don't really like casually playing games on PC that much. goes to Switch, I hope it goes to PS4 as well, because that's my preferred console. The other big thing that's holding me back from playing any of them is that there's no added content, because, I mean, with the exception of FF3, I've already played all of those games in more or less the same format that the Pixel remasters are, so just the fact that there's nothing really new other than just the game kind of looking and sounding nicer really give me a lot of motivation to make the time investment. Yeah, I played the Saga Frontier remaster last month and enjoyed it, although I enjoyed it a lot more once I looked up some just tips, general tips on how to get strong in the game, since it doesn't really hold your hand. Yeah, I've never played Xenogears, but I've heard it had some of the similar issues as Saga Frontier, where it wasn't really ever finished. Like, I don't know if I would have actually finished all of the character stories in Saga Frontier if the New Game Plus feature that the remaster added wasn't a thing, just because it made starting new characters a lot more bearable as far as not having to do a ton of grinding to get started. Even with having lots of good equipment and stuff, that none of the bosses and stuff ever really felt easy to me. Yeah, I played Lunar 1 and 2 on PlayStation. Definitely enjoyed those. So we're siding with Escad because it saves a lot of time in cutscenes, even though that's kind of the quote-unquote bad ending for the storyline. Oh yeah, the Lunar games, especially on the PS1 versions, are very, very, very anime, but just very, very endearing as well. Jeez. Got a run going. Yeah, the voice acting for the PlayStation Lunar games is I mean, it's cheesy, especially by modern standards, but compared to a lot of other games of the era, I think it's very, very well done. Galleon has some amazing quotes too. Not Galleon, dear Core. Emperor Galleon. Now, food would be sub sandwiches because there's lots of variety to be had there. I have to think about a game because having one game for a year would be quite the investment. So we've gotten the artifact for the final Faerie storyline quest, but we're a ways away from actually doing it yet. I mean, if I was only able to play one game for an entire year, it would certainly have to be a game that has a lot of different ways to play it. Trials of Mana, that would actually be a contender for that, I'd say, just given that who you pick for your three characters makes for a pretty different playthrough. Not just for like how the storyline and boss fights and stuff play out, but also just how your team synergies work and the like. Yeah, Lament of Innocence is a really great game, but it has some flaws with the controls, in particular the camera and the like special item menu. Although I guess probably my main issue with that game though is just that I feel like it's way too short for a PlayStation 2 game. But what there is, I think, is great. Yeah, The end game I thought was a little underwhelming too, as far as the final area and the final boss. Particular that you don't actually fight Dracula ever. Yeah, Bloodlines is on. I mean, it's on the Castlevania collection, which is on like everything. Like I think most people that speedrun Bloodlines speedrun it on PC or Switch or something now, because it's a pretty good port. Up. Ah. Not even sure how I managed to go up like that when I was holding right, but I haven't decided what game I'm going to run next. Like, after I get my goal in this category, I want to do a couple all storylines run, which is about a 4-hour run that does all 3 main storylines. But that's going to be more or less my send-off to Legend of Mana for a while, and then move on to something else. But I haven't decided what the something else is going to be yet. It's usually just what kind of run that just looks fun and challenging to me at the time. Like most games that I speedrun are games from my childhood that I want excuses to play again, but not always. And there aren't really any Dragon Quests that are tempting me to speedrun right now, but maybe someday. Dragon Quest is the first RPG series I ever played, courtesy of the free Dragon Quest 1 cartridge I got for subscribing to Nintendo Power. Alright, awesome music time, by the way, too. Potentially my favorite track in the whole game. Such a good endgame dungeon theme. It's a really fun dungeon for speedrunning too, just because this is the only dungeon in the whole game that has minor glitches that you can use to skip stuff. Yeah, I beat Dragon Warrior 1 as a kid. I mean, for me, it was just mind-blowing to play an NES game that I couldn't beat in a weekend. Come on, Yeti, get back here. Probably something behind that fungus. It's really, really common for that to happen. First skip attempt here, although I'm gonna make one attempt at it. Possible to clip through Selva here, but that saves a whopping 6 seconds if done perfectly. Let's make one quick attempt, and if I don't have a good setup for it, I don't do it. Now we get more meaningful skip here. Skip, re-skip a fight. It used to be thought to be a soft lock too, and it technically is, because you can't really leave that screen through conventional means, but you clip through the monster sprite, you can go in the door and then get on with your life. Alright, this skip is a lot easier than the first one. Just like that. If you're playing the original Dragon Quest nowadays, I would recommend one of its remakes, like on the Game Boy Color, or like I think there's ports of it on the Switch and on mobile phones now too. That kind of capture largely the same experience, but have way less required grinding. I'd say this game is good casually, as long as you're okay with either having to do a lot of kind of free-form exploration to figure out how to progress the story, or are willing to use like some light resources and help in order to point you in the right direction. This game can be pretty obtuse about how to make progress, but if you're either okay with that or use resources to help, then I think it's a really fun game. I didn't want to say anything when I was coming up here to jinx it, but yeah, I could have lost most of my lead on this fight with Berwyn if I failed the stun lock quick kill. Yeah, I like to say it's one of the best looking and sounding games on the PlayStation 1, period. I've really come to appreciate sprite-based PS1 games as the years have gone by too, just because I think those hold up so much better than the kind of early 3D style games that the console became more known for. But games like this, Valkyrie Profile, Mega Man X4, Final Fantasy Tactics, just PS1 games that are primarily sprite-based, but use the power of the CD media to have like full motion video and stuff on top of that. I think hold up well. Oh yeah, Alundra is a game I still need to play. I had a disc of that on my shelf for quite some time now. Oh yeah, the Suikoden games. Yeah, that's another series I have yet to dabble in. Yeah, Valkyrie Profile 1 has an amazing Motoi Sakuraba soundtrack. It's a game I'd probably have speedrun by now if the cutscenes were skippable. I mean, I mean, obviously I'm running a game like this, so I don't oppose unskippable cutscenes on principle, but it's pretty rough in Valkyrie Profile 1, namely that you have half an hour of unskippable cutscenes before you actually get to play the game at all. So I have no idea if I'm gonna save time here. I mean, I had one pretty bad fight on Leucemia with that imp or something that I kept riffing my spin on and doing an uncancelled power hit instead. But combat felt pretty smooth otherwise, and I got the Irwin quick kill. If I lose time here, it's not going to be much. Yeah, we just finished the Faerie storyline, and after you finish one of the 3 main storylines in this game, for anyone not aware, there's a couple minutes of cutscenes with auto-scrolling text, so it's kind of a nice break. The only Final Fantasy Tactics game I played is the first one. I haven't played any of the Tactics Advance games. Whenever I get around to playing another tactical RPG again, I think it'll be one of the Disgaea games, because that's a series I haven't touched yet, and I've heard very good things about. Yeah, I've got a copy of the remake of Disgaea 1 and PS4, Disgaea 1 Complete. Yeah, I enjoyed Octopath a lot. Not gonna lie too, I've been feeling a little bit of an itch to speedrun it again too, after seeing like Elmagus and other people picking it up again. Okay, we are gonna save time. All right. Well, I have a really, really sick endgame. We might be able to get a 146, which would be nuts. See what happens though. Yeah, if I pick up Octopath again, I'd start with a single story category, but the kind of the end goal would be to learn the Caldera full game run eventually. ActRaiser Professional mode has tempted me a bit, too. I would like to eventually learn a new speedrun that's not an RPG. Yeah, Octopath's a good first RPG speedrun for sure. It's nice and accessible because of being on PC. There's lots of good tutorials and resources. It's short by RPG standards, like single story categories are an hour or less typically. Skip all the cutscenes, so there's very little downtime. Hey, Catharsis game, come in. Yeah, I would say this is probably my favorite non-unique dungeon theme. Like, Leucemia is my favorite dungeon theme, but, there's dungeon themes that aren't unique. I do this one. The only N64 games I've played in full are Star Fox 64, Paper Mario. I think that's it, actually. It's not a console I had as a kid, so I don't feel nostalgia for its games. If I want an RPG on the N64, I'll play Paper Mario. Thank you very much. I still save time on the Cage of Dreams despite making a minor mistake as far as not doing my equipping the hammer before the third fight. And all it meant was that I had to do a spin to kill the 3 Potos. Oh yeah, Aiden Chronicles I know is another one. I saw Hactical do a speedrun of that for Questing for Glory recently. Okay, somehow it survived with like 1 HP. Slower tree kill than I was hoping for, but so be it. More fight and then the final boss. I think a 146 is going to be pretty tight. I'm not sure possibly. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, I don't think I can do it in 30 seconds. So let's see. So close. Alright, GG though. That is a pretty nice PB. Hey RPG chick, thank you. So close. I don't think we can let this go. I think I need to get that 146. Much appreciated, both on the watching and the non-jinxing. Yeah, that would have been it if I hadn't missed with the first Counter-Strike, but it happens sometimes. Yeah, and that tree, or some of the fights on the mana tree were a little suboptimal too. Going for Counter-Strikes is always a little risky too, just because the enemies that Counter-Strikes are most effective against can sometimes just walk up and then just give you bro hugs or sis hugs or whatever without actually attacking you, and then you just waste a couple seconds before either just committing to to doing it or just giving up and doing power cancels instead. Thanks, the GG's over. And I knew I had just little bits of time to save all over the place just from cleaner movement and combat that I've just from improving from running Dragon and Jumi stories and then bringing that back to Faerie, which was the first category I ran, but almost 3 minutes is way more than I was expecting. Yeah, this is about a little under 4 minutes off the record. You know, it's a 1:43:0 something. Back to the start was decent. I had this weird issue on the Flame of Hope where I got stuck on the shop counter and had to cancel the shop menu like twice before I figured out that I was stuck and had to kind of wiggle to get out. That was pretty weird. But I had a really good fight in the dungeon, which made up for that. Tea Time of Danger was decent. Some of the fights I think could have been a little better, but the boss was fine. I didn't drop my combo at all. Obviously, it would have been a little faster if I'd have gotten the Spiral Claw drop, but that's like a 1 out of 8 or so. It's something that you can count on. Huntin' Ducate was... I mean, I think most of that time save on Huntin' Ducate is from the shopping trip beforehand, just because I ended up having a pretty fast time selling stuff to get to 500 lucre to afford the silver sword. I know one of my zombie fights in the jungle was not great, because I didn't have a ST ready to go going into it, but that's something I have full control over. Murmuring Forest, I don't really remember much about. I know I dropped my combo on Punk Master once, but it didn't really end up mattering. I had a pretty good Spriggan fight. It only did 1 ST and I countered it. I know my gold for Mind Your Own Business is decent, because I haven't come close to that since getting that gold. Still just don't feel like I fully know what I'm doing with the Laban boss fight, especially at the start, as far as like whether I should be trying to use spins to take both heads down first, or something else. I'll have to watch some more from other people's runs too, just to see how they handle that fight. The Gorgon Eye was alright. I dropped the stun lock on the boss like twice or 2 or 3 times, but it didn't teleport, so I didn't get punished for it. Search of Fairies is pretty decent. Had a decent Dana fight in Star-Crossed Lovers. There aren't really that many differences that affect the speedrun between the original and the HD version, but one thing I'm definitely starting to notice is that the Dana fight plays out a little differently in the HD version, because in this version she seems like she always starts the fight with an ST, but in the HD version she doesn't. It's kind of odd that it's just that one fight, at least that I've done so far. Leukemia was alright. I had one, maybe two kind of bad fights, and then got the quick kill on Irwin. With Irwin, you either get the quick kill or you lose like 2 minutes. I mean, there's really an in-between. I had a minor mistake in the Cage of Dreams where I didn't do my, I didn't equip the hammer when I was supposed to, but all that really meant was that I had to do an extra spin to kill the Potos. And then a couple rough fights on the Mana Tree, and I missed once with my Counter-Strike, but other than that, it was solid. Evidence by getting a gold. Thanks, John Retro. Yeah, I turned on the stream tonight, kind of thinking my goal for this would be like a low 148, high 147, but I think we can get that 146. Plus, this is my favorite single storyline category for the game, so I definitely still feel like doing more runs before moving on to all stories, which I started working on notes for yesterday. Yeah, and I do like the ending song. I especially like the start too, when it's a lot more kind of nostalgic and reflective sounding before the drums and stuff kick in. I do wish there was there were subtitles though, because it's in Swedish, and I've read the translation, and it's very topical. The song is about being reborn, which is what the theme of the ending to the game is. I have not played any of the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters yet. I'm sure I will someday, but thus far I've more just enjoyed watching other people play them and listening to the soundtracks. Yes, Final Fantasy Adventure was the first Mana game. Its remakes are called Sword of Mana and Adventures of Mana in order to kind of bring it into the fold. Oh, is it? Nice, yeah. I mean, I'm still a ways away from the record, and that is not going to be changing. I am not going to try to get record at this. And I know the PS1 record has almost 500 attempts, and I've done like 10 attempts or so. So as far as, I mean, if I was willing to really push this game for extended period of time, I could probably challenge the record, but not really kind of where my interest lies right now. Yeah. I just have to get my hands replaced with bionics so that I can wiggle run like him Lemur does. Yeah, there'll be another run tonight. Yep. Start the road to 146 right now. 47 in game time.